that bloke there doesn't have a Scooby.
A Scooby, isn't that like something on kombucha?
No. So Scooby's got to rhyme. So I'll give you a clue.
Okay.
That bloke doesn't have a Scooby-Doo. So Scooby-Doo's got to match with the word.
Is that a snack?
No.
That bloke doesn't have a booby.
Doesn't have a clue. But you don't have to say Scooby-Doo, you just have to say Scooby.
So he means that bloke doesn't have a clue.
But he doesn't say that bloke doesn't have a clue. He says that bloke doesn't have a Scooby. Because Scooby-Doo matches with clue.
What is your country?
But you don't have to say Scooby-Doo. You just have to say Scooby. It's like...
That bloke doesn't have a Scooby.
Here comes trouble.
What's that?
So trouble and strife means wife. So if you say here comes trouble, it means here comes the wife.
God help me.
There you go.
Welcome to Sharing My Truth with Mel and Suzie, the uncensored version, where we bear it all.
We do.
And hello, and welcome back to Sharing My Truth with Mel and Suzie. And we're here to give you a quick little friendly reminder to subscribe to this beautiful, lovely podcast if you'd like to listen to us. Get notified on when we're having our next episode, which is every Wednesday. And please give us a little rate and review, 5 stars, if you like us and you like this podcast. Give us a comment, give us a message on the Insta at Sharing My Truth Pod. Send us a little voicemail on our website, sharingmytruth.com. Send us a little email. We would absolutely love to hear from you. We have been thriving with you guys in what you've been sending us. It's been honestly unbelievable. But yeah. Hi, babes.
Hello, darling.
Hi.
Hello. How are you?
Oh, I'm excellent. And yourself, darling?
I'm fabulous.
Oh,
Just fabulous,
so
darling.
Good.
With the old accent.
I know, I've been working on my British accent, and I actually think it's getting worse.
It might be.
Is that what happens?
It could be. Yeah.
I'm no Margot Robbie, but...
Margot Robbie, she's Australian.
I know, but just because she can go through accents like nobody's goddamn fucking business.
Has she ever done an English accent?
Yeah, she played
In
like
what?
some queen of something.
Did she?
Yeah. She's a chameleon.
She is very good. Yeah, I will give her that. I haven't seen Barbie yet in the full thing.
Are you
not
fucking
sure
kidding me?
I'm not sure. I just feel I might get a bit bored with it.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's the best movie I've ever seen. Like, I think it's a bit overrated, but I do believe that it's a good movie. And I think you would like it just because it's kind of funny and it's not for kids.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I know, because I watched the beginning because I have it on my crazy TV system at home. And I was like, okay, you lost me. When they've got all the Barbies in the sort of deserty thing.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, that's it.
That's like a...
I know that was enough. That was enough. Like I said, I haven't got time. That's it. Stop. Go.
Well, at least she knows what she wants, people.
That's true. And a very important thing happened to me this week.
Oh my God, please tell me a Mel story.
I found out, I haven't watched Saltburn. Saltburn? Yeah.
Yes.
But I have found out why in all these TikTok and Instagram things, like people are sitting around, it's like a thing, they get their family to watch Saltburn.
We do still need to watch it though.
We should watch it in its entirety.
Because I've heard really fucked up things, but I want to watch it.
Yeah, but I was informed by one of my daughters what the scene is that they're all watching.
It's not just the one scene.
No, I think it's several.
Multiple scenes of
a lot
fucked up shit
involving penises and sort of inanimate objects.
And cum and blood and I'm sure other things.
Extremely peculiar. Yeah, and the one with the bathtub, now I know what it is, and I'm not going to ruin it for everyone.
Yeah, there's a bathtub scene.
But I understand why people's face just goes, yeah.
I think we should watch it together, and I think we should watch it with your husband. And then maybe we should just invite your neighbors over just for a nice movie
night.
night.
And a spare granny walking down the street.
Yeah.
Come and watch Saltburn.
Absolutely.
And it's all set in England. It's all full of English people, which doesn't say much about us, of course. That we're all raging perverts, yes.
You are.
Yeah.
That's why I love you, babes.
Oh, thanks.
Okay, well, today we're going to be talking about a little bit of a sugar and spice and everything nice.
We are. What are we talking about, Susie?
Sugaring!
Yes, which we found out what it means. Because I didn't know that there was a verb to sugar. And you obviously know what a sugar baby, sugar daddy, apparently sugar mummy is.
Sugar mummy.
But I didn't know there was a term called sugaring.
Yeah, I honestly, when you said, hey, Suze, let's do an episode on sugaring, I was like, why are we talking about waxing? And then I realized that it's actually about sugar babies.
It's the umbrella term for the sugaring spectrum.
For the sugaring community.
Exactly.
Love
it.
So
if you're a sugar baby, a sugar daddy, a sugar mummy, or is there anything?
A sugar brother, a sugar
Is there a
sister?
thing in between?
I don't
You're
fucking
under
know.
the sugaring umbrella.
Beautiful.
So if you were to entertain this thought or you'd be interested, you would go to a sugaring website. And that's what it's called. And you'd either be the person purchasing the sugaring or the person
is this like seeking arrangements?
Yeah, I mean, I suppose that's how they get away with it legally. Because they technically say there's no sex. You're like, yeah, right.
Like, you gotta be fucking kidding me.
Well, supposedly, I guess there's some odd people that don't. They just want to talk or something. I don't know. I mean, that just sounds bizarre.
That sounds boring as
hell. Or they just want to get some young girl or young man and buy them stuff. I mean, why would you want to do that?
Well, there are relationships where men, older men usually, just want to take care of a younger woman for whatever that reason is. And if this is you, call me. But there are older men out there that just want to take care of a woman that don't want anything back.
Yeah, I think that's extremely rare. Let's be fair.
I want to find this person.
Yeah, I think
do you want this platonic relationship with little Suze? I'll be happy. I'll happily go to dinner with you if I get a $500 check at the end of it.
Yeah, and you're $500. That's not enough
for just dinner. I take that. You do that once a day. You go to
you'd have multiple sugarers.
Yeah, why not? No, I just have one.
Do you have a sugar?
One. He wants to go for dinner every day. Sure.
So you're a sugaree and they're a sugarer. I don't know. But I find the whole thing fascinating. And part of the reason I thought about it, two things happened, which is a little odd.
No, I love it.
Is I was watching a show, as I told you in our last episode, that I'm a content whore and I love watching stuff. It's like how I relax.
A whore.
Yeah, I'm a whore. And it was in this completely random show. And I watch a lot of British shows, British dramas, obviously. And OVS, yeah. And this, of all people, it was a police woman, but anyway,
policewoman.
She said, because it was like a crime thing.
Okay.
And she mentioned sugaring, and I was like, what does that mean? And I found out. But then, shortly after that, there was an event, nothing to do with me.
No.
But my husband, every week, he likes to buy lottery tickets because he always says,
I've been getting into those actually lately.
I've never bought one in my entire life.
Wild.
But he buys, everywhere he goes in the world, he buys a lottery ticket because he's like, if you don't buy them, you can't win, which is a very good point.
True.
Very good point. He never spends a lot of money and he always wins like little prizes and then
who cares? As long as you get your money back kind of thing and then you just put it back in. Who cares?
And he loves it. He loves a flutter. Do you know what that means?
No.
That's the English word for gambling. So he loves a flutter. Anyway, so he goes to our local corner store, which we would call a newsagent, but you call a corner store. And the lady who runs it, who owns it, the husband, is very nice.
Convenience store, yeah.
Convenience store, that's the word. It's a very nice young woman, like in her 30s. And she's like very chatty. And she's like really nice. And she knows what's going on in the neighborhood. And Max is very chatty. So they always have a little chat about, let's say there's a new store, a new restaurant. Like she always knows the goss.
What's happening, right?
She knows what's going on.
Love that.
Like when it's opening and all this sort of stuff. Anyway, he's in there one day, because obviously he's there every week. And this man comes in. Obviously I wasn't there, so this is a second-hand story. Who was sort of in his 70s with this sort of young woman that clearly wasn't his daughter.
Clearly wasn't. What were they, like, grabbing ass? Like, what?
I'm not sure. Maybe it's the way she was dressed, a little tarty.
Oh, a little tarty.
A little, boobs up.
Skanky.
Hair out, stuff. And anyway, they do their little thing, buy something, they say hi to the lady, how are you? A little chat, blah, blah, blah. And they leave. And then immediately they leave, the woman goes, okay, so I'm going to tell you the goss on
Oh
those
my
two.
God, I love this lady.
To my husband, Max. And he's like, okay, what is it? And so apparently he's this guy who lives in my neighborhood. I'm sure there are very many in my neighborhood. But he's a sugar daddy and she's a sugar baby. And the arrangement is, according to the lady who runs the convenience store, is he pays for her rent and her car.
Okay.
They do have sexual, interludes, intimacy.
Yes.
And they like have a nice time and go out and whatever. But that's the agreement. That's the arrangement. He pays her rent and her car and she lives with her boyfriend and her boyfriend knows. And all she has to do, I guess, is sleep with this old guy.
Is she sleeping with him though?
I believe that was the information that was relayed because this girl has told the
Right.
ladies around the convenience store, which I thought was a lot of fucking information to tell, but I thought it was very funny.
Okay, I have a critical
So it made
question.
made me think about sugaring.
Is the boyfriend a pimp?
Well, my first thought was, he's a bit of a shit, really, isn't he? Maybe he's a sugary too. Maybe he sugars.
Maybe he's a sugar baby from a
one-
sugar mummy.
But what if he has a sugar daddy?
Oh
then,
my God.
And then we go back to one of our last episodes. Then they've got a.
What if they're the same sugar daddy? What if they have the same
Oh my God.
sugar daddy?
Do you know that must be a thing? That must be a thing. It must be,
Fucked up,
mustn't
but
it?
I kind of love it.
I don't think it is in this case, but it must be a thing. Let's face it. Everything else is a thing. That must be a thing.
No, I love
But
that.
he is totally okay with it, and I just think, I think that's a bit shitty, really.
I mean, if
He's happy.
if he's happy because he doesn't have to pay for stuff like he doesn't want to. He doesn't want to
The
pay for her
rent.
rent. He doesn't want
No,
to pay
his
for
rent.
her.
It's their rent.
It's their rent. He doesn't want to pay for any rent.
He
Which
doesn't pay for
this
the
man
rent.
is a genius.
I mean, clearly,
He
yeah.
doesn't do shit all.
But this is basically, yes, he's a pimp and she's a prosy. I mean, it is prostitution. I'm not in any way judging her because if she is doing that,
I love this for her.
it's totally up to her.
Maybe the sugar daddy is better at sex.
There is always that possibility. But in which case I sort of feel she should be with him.
Oh.
But then maybe that's not what he wants, is it?
Well, maybe it's not what either. Like, there's no future with this sugar daddy.
Well, why not?
Because he can't have, you don't want
They
kids.
can't have children with it,
If
yeah.
that's what she wants. Obviously, we're just making this up for these people that
We've
we've
just
no idea.
created this whole story. But it led me to think about this whole thing. And then I saw, like I said, I heard the term sugaring in this show and I was like, I wonder. And it is obviously a thing people do sort of talk about.
Yeah.
Sugar daddies and sugar babies. And it is a thing. And you're like, yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, apparently, if you want to find a sugaring,
Yeah.
do you like my use of situation, you go to a sugaring website.
Okay, so
Apparently,
are we
obviously.
talking about seeking arrangements? Or are we talking about there's many sugaring websites? And is that just a form to solicit prostitution?
I think there are lots, yeah. I think you can get any form, much like dating sites.
Is it just like
When you
escorting?
I think you can, well, obviously, that's not legal, is it? In this country, it is in some many
Isn't
countries.
escorting legal because you're not really sleeping with them technically?
Well,
They're
that's,
paying you
I
for
think
dates?
they can
They're paying
sort
you for a
of
service.
technically advertise. Yeah, I mean, it's all a bit, yeah. But I mean, there are different levels of sugaring, aren't there? So there are people who, it seems odd, but yeah, he just wants to pay and they get together and chat and go out for dinner. Or they may be, if you're an older man or an older woman and you just kind of want a companion, I mean, I guess that is possible.
Mm-hmm.
And, I guess it's possible. It used to be called, this, you're going to find this funny. In the old days, it used to be called a walker.
Well, like a streetwalker?
No, so if you were particularly older women,
Okay.
my dad would always say, oh, that's that woman's walker. It was a term. So it's a very British term. Is that let's say she's an older woman, she's in her, I guess 50s, 60s, 70s, whatever. Her husband, she's either divorced or she's a widow or whatever. And she wants to go out for dinner or to a party or, to something like a play, the opera, some kind of event. And you normally have somebody somebody, you get those invites. Well, I don't know if they do. They don't really do that anymore. You and a guest kind of thing. And you want somebody to go with you so you don't feel like a sort of, spare part.
Like an escort.
No. So
Okay.
you don't feel like you're on your own. So you'd have a guy in your life
Right.
who would just come with you to these things, but you don't actually have a relationship with. Does that make sense? And he'd be the walker.
I just can't even believe this exists. I've never heard of this in my life.
Yeah, it does. It does. Because you could have a friend, and I can think, actually, my aunt has a friend who has a guy who exactly that. He just takes her to events. Not my aunt, it's her friend. They're not in a relationship or anything. It's just, if you're invited to a party or a wedding, or you have some posh event to go to, or you want to go to dinner, or you want to do anything that you kind of need a +1.
Yeah.
And you kind of like this person, but you don't want to be in a relationship with them. That's what they are. They're a walker.
That's
and
amazing.
And I guess in those situations, you might actually be the person who pays. That would make sense, wouldn't it? I don't know.
That would make sense.
I never actually clarified that piece of information. But I think in that sense, I get it. And then the sugar daddy thing, and obviously we always talk about sugar daddies. Nobody ever really talks about sugar mummies.
Not enough. No.
And there must be sugar mummies.
There
must be.
Of course there is. And
i.e. MILFs.
And also, I think maybe this is just me making an assumption, but I think this sugar baby thing, sugar daddy, sugar mommy, whatever, is very prevalent in actually the gay community.
Yes.
Where there's a lot of sugar daddies with the sugar babies, obviously gay, and there's lesbians with their sugar mommies and whatever. And I think it's actually way more prevalent in the gay community, and we are just kind of oblivious to it.
Yeah. It's funny. I did see a TikTok the other day, and it's some couple where the guy is this really, he doesn't look it, but he's much, much older, very, very wealthy. And the boyfriend's 23, gay couple. And he just buys him all these amazing things. And of course, it's for TikTok, so it's probably bullshit. But still, yeah.
See, that's the thing. I am 100% here for the sugaring community.
Yeah.
The
sugaring benefits, you just don't want the downsides.
I don't want to sleep with
having to sleep with a saggy old ball sack.
Yeah, that's not, I'm not against it if he knows what he's doing.
Right.
But it's not my first choice.
No.
But like we said on our age gappers episode, sometimes you just click with someone, and maybe that person also pays for your rent, and that's okay.
Yeah, sure. I mean, they say I guess sugaring, a lot of young women got into it. If they're studying or something like they got something and got to pay for.
Yeah.
And life is so bloody expensive. Yeah, I mean, okay.
It is.
But I think like anything, I think the idea probably seems like, oh, I can do that. That's easy. And then maybe it isn't, but I don't know. But again, no judgment for me.
Literally no judgment.
If you want to do that, I don't think it's necessarily the best idea. But,
I think it's a great idea.
If you want to do it.
I think it's you're going to save money. It's a great investment in your life. It lets you just travel and be yourself. And who needs a job?
Well, there is that. I mean, I wouldn't be very pleased if my daughters were doing it.
Why?
I just think, especially if
they wouldn't have to rely on you anymore.
That's true. But especially if they had a boyfriend, I think, wow, that's why do you want? What do they want the boyfriend for?
Exactly.
What's the point
you
of
wouldn't
him?
respect the boyfriend very much.
But what does he do? What does he add to the equation? I mean, quite frankly, if you've got your rent paid for, you've got your car paid for, you've got your clothing, you're having sex with this man, you're going out. What do you need the boyfriend for?
I 100% agree with you.
For God's sake, you need some downtime. What's the boyfriend? The boyfriend brings nothing to the table.
Maybe he's just nice to talk to.
Oh, please. Please.
Anyway. So fucking funny.
But there you go. That is my foray into the world of sugaring. I knew nothing about it.
Oh, I love the community. I find that this is a tale as old as time, Mel.
Of course it is.
And I appreciate people who are, because working in the service industry and also just, walking through Yorkville once, you see
You do see a lot of it. I mean, one thing I would say to anybody who is listening to this, who is young or a sugary, because the sugarer's got nothing to lose. If he or she is wealthy and they want to spend money on someone or something or whatever, what's the difference if it's a person?
Yeah.
Up to them. But the sugary, I think you have to be careful because this might well be a moment in time. And I would suspect that the sugarer, the older person in this equation, is interested in you because you are young and beautiful, obviously.
Yeah.
So you're not going to be young and beautiful forever.
No.
So what are you going to do when you get old and you're maybe still beautiful? They're not going to pay your rent. So what do you do? You've got to find another thing.
Well,
so what
maybe-
happens to middle-aged sugarers? There's a question. Sugaring for the middle. What do you do?
I think if you are sugary, like
Yeah.
your sugar baby.
Where do you go? Where do you go
I just
after
think
that?
maybe when you have your sugar daddy, make sure that you're investing that money.
That's true.
Make sure you're
Getting
buying
to buy your
Birkins
house. Yeah.
and good investments. Birkins are excellent investments
They are.
if you keep them well.
Yeah.
Make sure he buys you an apartment. Real estate.
That's true.
Very important.
Deed in your name.
Exactly. Make sure that
Very
there
good
is some
point.
savings.
Wow, you have thought about this quite
This is
a
what
lot.
I have thought about this.
Yeah.
If you want to be having a sugar daddy, which there's no shame in this game, okay?
Yeah.
But
If you want to
Yeah.
be sugared.
if you want to be sugared, I love it.
Yeah.
But yeah, just make sure that you're not buying stupid shit with this money. It's like, that there's a point to this. And when, you turn 28, like super old like myself, and he's done with you, then you have something to look back at and be like, wow, I made so much money
Wow.
from this man.
It's a bit like being a porn star in your 20s.
Yeah, like it's gonna. Well, no,
I mean, you
because then
could
you
be an
become
old.
a MILF.
You could be an older porn star.
Because
Because
then you become a MILF.
I think you would get a bit sick of it, wouldn't you?
I would assume so.
Being
The
a
holes
porn
get
star.
tired.
It's a question I've actually thought about.
My hole gets tired at the end of the week.
Wow. Wow.
And I know I'm not having as much sex as a porn star.
No.
Although I wish.
No. Yes. And then we have gone off track now. And then they have to have sex in their private life. So that's another question
Yeah.
for another podcast.
Porn stars.
Well, yeah. I actually would like to interview a porn star because what I'd like to know is, do you get really sick of it in your private life? Do you think, oh God, I can't be doing this? I've done it all day.
It's like that doctor thing where it's like, you have your husband's a gynecologist and he's like, ugh, if I see one more fucking vagina today. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Do you think that guy's going to go down on you? I don't think so.
Do you think
He's
Oh,
seen like
and
20 vaginas that day.
on the subject of this, I do have a funny. One thing I did forget to say about sugaring. Going back to sugaring
Please.
as a
Let's
source,
get back on track.
and this is an excellent source.
Okay.
Wikipedia.
You'll love it.
According to Wikipedia,
Yes, love.
sugaring is a dating practice where a person receives money, gifts, support, or other financial and material benefits in exchange for a dating-like service. The person who receives the gift is called a sugar baby, while they're paying. I thought it said playing. Their paying partner is called a sugar daddy or a sugar mummy.
Well, as long as Wikipedia says it,
Well,
then
then
it must be
that's
true.
clearly absolutely the truth. And to going to the
I want to go on one of these websites just to see what it's like, just to see what kind of guys or girls I'm getting to talk to me
right.
and what they offer.
Actually, this one here says, I'm a sugar baby, businessinsider.com, doing some advertising for you.
Yes.
I'm a sugar baby who gets paid $500 per date. There you go.
That's
does
what
seem
I said.
Exactly. But that does seem a lot. How many dates do you go on a week?
Imagine you're going on 5 dates a week.
They don't all have to be in the evening. You go for lunch. Do you get $500 if you go for
Sure.
lunch?
Fuck yeah. It's part of my time.
Wow.
$500 an hour, let's say.
Wow.
I'm like a lawyer now.
Oh, here we go. This is very important. Newswise.com. The 7 types of sugar daddy relationships. I don't think this requires a huge amount of imagination. Sugaring in the US. What? This is very hard. Okay, so I just want to say this to you because this is very, very important.
Yes.
And
You've lost it.
there's nothing here. So we're just going to forget about that.
Okay.
Here I was thinking, wow, I'm such a fact finder.
I'm a fact finder.
And I have nothing.
Okay. What about the 7 types of sugar daddies?
Well,
Oh,
yeah.
that's what you were
Exactly.
That's what you were looking at.
Exactly.
Oh, and then it says sugar prostitution, and it's like, whoa, that's dark, baby.
That's really lovely.
Sugar Daddy Meet. Sugar Daddy Meet is the #1 sugar daddy dating site for successful, generous, and men and attractive, classy women.
Oh, so it's only for older
Join
men.
us now.
So it's not
That's
for...
what it looks like. Yeah.
Wow.
Should I join it?
I mean,
See what happens.
do you think there are going to be proportionally
Okay, wait.
more sugar
This is
daddies
actually so interesting.
than sugar babies, than sugar mummies.
So I've just gone onto sugardaddymeat.com.
Meat as in a piece of meat.
No.
Oh, to meat.
To meet up. Not a piece of meat.
I'm finding it hard to breathe.
Oh my
Okay.
God. Okay. So sugar daddy meat, MEET.
Meetup.com.
Yes.
Okay. Yes, got it. I'm
and-
with it.
Okay, so it says that it has selective members.
Oh.
So you have to like be
Got to
actually
pass.
hot to be in it. Yeah, you gotta
Wow.
pass. And it's the largest dedicated sugar daddy dating site. This is not an ad for this, by the way. We're just doing research.
Yeah, no,
We're
they're not
doing research.
sponsoring us.
Okay, so this is what I found interesting. So join if you're a successful, generous man, blah, 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 looking for an honest relationship, whatever. And then
I mean, please.
this is what I found interesting. Join if you're an attractive, classy woman looking for a mentor. This is how they get away with this.
Well, they have to by law. I mean, they can't say,
Look, come here,
have
look.
you got a big wallet and a big penis? And have you got, lots of
Why
time
can't
and
we
big boobs?
advertise like this? Isn't this false advertising, Mel? Can you
Well,
ask your lawyer?
Yeah, I should. But
Good.
no, it sounds like they really are done well to be right between the lines there.
Oh my God, that's
But I'd
so
love to know what the
funny.
vetting process is. Because
Me
they can't,
too.
They can't meet these people in person. So what if they can't, right? So what if you
Yeah.
sent in a fake photo? Like
I
people
don't
do on
know.
dating sites, and they put lots of photos and very nice angles, or perhaps of them 10 years ago.
Oh my God, this is just
So I wonder how
so
they check.
Funny.
Do you think you have to send bank statements or something if you're the sugar daddy? I mean, how do they know that you're wealthy?
Oh my God, this is just so funny. There's like all this weird shit on their website. First date ideas. Oh, and they have a whole like a community on here. This is the sugaring community. Is on sugardaddymeats.com.
Yeah. Well, obviously, yeah.
Oh my God.
And I guess if you want that type of thing,
I am
Then
going to
that's where
apply
you
for
go.
this just to see. Okay, no one get crazy. Just to see literally how these people work, because I am interested. These
So-
people are from all over the world.
how old do you have to be? So
I
how
would
do you?
assume plus 18.
So what happens if you're sugar dad? Do you have to be in the same place?
I would assume so.
I mean,
You probably can say that when you're signing up.
wow,
Is this not the funniest thing ever?
it is pretty amusing.
Oh, you must be 19 years or older to sign up.
Yeah, well, that makes sense.
So one of your daughters can, but
Oh, great! I'm so pleased. I'm so pleased.
okay, well, let's hear from you guys. If you guys are a sugar baby, a sugar daddy, someone who likes sugar, I definitely do. If you have a story to tell, if you are someone we've just described, if your best friend is, if your father is, and you found his phone and you figured
my
it out
God.
that he's on Sugar Daddy Meats, and you found his girlfriend and you went to their house and you saw them making out, and your mom was actually on the sidewalk also watching, and your dog was running across the street. What a story.
Wow, you've given this a little bit too much thought.
Yeah,
A little too invested in that.
just
Susie.
send us that story. That's the story we
So
want to hear.
I definitely think I'd love to hear the stories. I'm obviously a little suspicious as an older woman of the sugar daddy's intentions. But
Yeah.
okay.
Well, just go to sharingmytruth.com and you can send us a voicemail. Maybe not. If it's super long, please send us an email, because
Yeah. Or you can
we
DM
just want to
us.
read it. And DM us on Share My Truth
Yeah,
Pod.
definitely. And on the subject of that,
Yes.
so we do get comments after our podcast, and our latest podcast, which was about was a write-in from a listener
Yes.
about their boyfriend who she knew was bisexual, but kind of okayed it in the beginning, and then she's a bit like, not so sure now. What does that mean? Is he going to cheat with a man? Obviously. So I'd say we had a few people write in, but the main comment they said was that, well, this one is that they were with their boyfriend for a few years, and then they just sort of brought it up
Yeah.
and said, this one is he just came out as bisexual, like, one day, like, oh, by the way, over the cornflakes in the morning. By the way, I'm a little bit bi.
So how do they deal with it? What did they
Well,
say?
this woman said not very well.
Oh,
I mean, that I think is fairly shit. I mean, I understand why it's hard, but if you've been with somebody for many years, unless you were in confusion during that period, but if you knew and you were hiding it, that really isn't very fair.
That's what's so hard about it, right? Like, I think a lot of, especially older people, and I don't know how old this person is.
No, I
but
don't know.
a lot of older people are kind of still figuring it out because they were never allowed to be their normal selves.
Oh, for sure.
But yeah, if you know and you are just be like, you try to hide it, and then obviously you can't hide it anymore because you want to sleep with the other sex, like, you have to tell that person up straight up, or you're just wasting their time or being just very what is that word, Mel? Untruthful.
Well, yeah, because an assumption is going to be that you have cheated, obviously.
Is that the assumption?
Of
That's
course.
not my assumption.
Well, it would be my assumption. I'd be like, if you haven't told me this,
right,
then you've obviously been doing whatever you've been doing and just haven't told me the truth.
Oh, interesting.
You would like be suspicious. This is a big friggin' thing.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So I think, or anything to do with not being honest about any sort of real facet of yourself, however hard it should be. I mean, really, what's the point in being in a relationship?
Yeah.
I mean, I appreciate it's hard, but then you're not really in a relationship with the actual person, aren't you? You're in a relationship with a version of that person.
Yeah.
Not the actual person. Because if you're bisexual, that is a huge part of who you are.
No, I agree.
And of course, being honest about it and open about it is obviously going to affect who you are.
Like, I just find it so weird that this happened and they just said this. And then, like, how do you expect your partner to react? Like, oh, great, no problem.
Well, I mean, I assume in most cases it's where they've just don't know what to do, haven't said about anything, just left it, and then it gets to this sort of literal explosion point. They've got to do something.
That's bad. And that's like anything. That's not just being bisexual. That's like,
it doesn't matter
you
what
like a little anal, you don't have your anal, you got to do it. You know what I mean? Like anything.
You often seem to like bringing things back to anal.
I think it's funny.
Yeah.
I think it's a funny word.
It is a funny word.
But that's like anything, you know? You like a little BDSM. You haven't told your partner and you're like, well, by the way, I like this. And you're like, well, I've known you for 2 years. You never brought it up, so this is a little weird.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I like peeing and sex. You haven't told me about this. That's a little weird.
Yeah, that could be a very interesting thing to just suddenly bring up. Yeah.
It's like,
I mean, that's a lot. No. It's like, I like to have a quick, no. Yeah. Anyway, you know.
Quick pee.
Yeah.
Not for you. Nice golden shower. I know, I hate it. But not judging anyone who likes it.
No, I mean, go for it. If you like it and the other person
just
likes
clean
it,
up. Make
and
sure
you all
you're
like
tight.
it, just have a shower.
Oh, great.
Not just the golden shower.
No, I know. Jesus Christ.
Like one with water and soap.
Oh, alrighty.
Okay. Well, that's really all I have to say on this.
Love you guys so much. Please, if you do have a story on golden showers or sugar babies, either or both.
Oh, bisexual couples. I mean, any of it.
Send us a little DM. You guys know what to do.
You do.
We love you so much.
Until next time. Thanks so much for listening. Please rate and review this podcast and follow us on social at Sharing My Truth Pod, and leave us a voicemail on our website, sharingmytruth.com, to share your stories and experiences with us. We'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.